Okay, so I told you I was going to have a separate video discussion um, on the topic of religion, which we're going to be going over in this class. And uh, it's important that you really pay attention to the spirit and the essence of what I'm trying to communicate to you. So first of all, a lot of students taking my class are not necessarily prepared or ready for it to be focused on religion. It's simply called World Civilizations of 106, and you're expecting me to cover, that topic, basically, historical events in different civilizations that exist in the world. But now, as a historian, I can pick and choose. I have to pick and choose. We have a limited amount of time of what to emphasize. Some historians will talk more about economic relationships and the exchange of goods. Where do you get that cinnamon from, or that spice? Or some like to focus on wars and battles. So there's so many different topics that I can address, or different approaches to what we're covering. I picked world religion because I know that while you'll be challenged on being exposed to many different things, most people have an opinion about religion, maybe too strong of opinion, right? But I mean, if you're an atheist, you're an atheist for a reason. If you're a believer in Christianity or Islam or Hinduism or some other various ism, there's a reason. You're born into it. You converted. You may be indifferent to it and just like it as a culture, but it does mean something to you. And what I figured what would be great is that you might be really alien to certain cultures that are, or the ideas, should I say, that you're going to be exposed to might seem very odd to you, or are not in your comfort zone, or you may never have even thought about them. But when I do this consistently, addressing the topic, it's something for you to be kind of engaged with, for your brain to kind of take on more seriously, so that you can memorize and maybe walk away actually having learned more in this short amount of time, with this tremendous amount of information being thrown your way. And so that's why I thought this is a great idea. I myself, I will not tell you my personal views about religion per se. I have them like the rest. And the reason why I don't want to really do that is not that I'm uncomfortable about it. I just don't want anybody to feel like that there's a favoritism going on in my point of view, or that I'm looking down, or that I favor one or the other, or however, which way I look at things. But I will give you a little bit of background and just explain why I'm interested. I have, both sides of my family have been very religious. I have a great uncle who was a Catholic priest, and he actually was an activist. And I didn't know this until later on in life, but he was even friends with Cesar Chavez, and he kind of actually was at the beginning of doing activist work with Cesar Chavez. So you can also see that he was a kind of a liberal Catholic priest working on political issues that were controversial then as now. And then I have some great aunts, and my aunt were nuns. On my mom's side, my great-great-grandfather was a Baptist minister. He's on the Harvard theology website, which I discovered him on there too, through Google. My family always talked about him, and his name and where he went, and I Googled it, and there he is on the Harvard Divinity website in the 19th century. So strange, the internet, right? Okay, and then my other great-grandpa was a Baptist minister, and then my grandfather was in the Christian Coalition. I have many families that converted to Jehovah's Witness and Mormons, and of course they all get along, right? No disagreements? No. Okay. And I'm just, it goes deeper than that, but that's enough. Enough said is that I have been exposed a lot to it, and I studied quite heavily Judaism and Islam as well. Basically you'll see what I know, you'll see in my lectures, okay, which is, this has been a topic that I've been passionate about. And in the background here, is a picture of Jesus. This is the one that my grandfather always had in his office. I went to Goodwill and I saw it, and it reminded me of my grandfather, and I missed him, my late grandfather, and I bought it, and I put it here. This that I'm wearing is called Mjolnir, or this is Thor's hammer. This was a pagan symbol that was found all throughout Germanic tribes areas and in Scandinavia. My grandfather, that was a devout Christian who had this Jesus picture, was also his father was from Sweden, and my family, the Swedish side of my family, came in from Sweden to Turlock with a large migration of Swedes actually there. And so I also am interested in Scandinavian heritage and religion prior even to Christianity as a point of interest of mine. And I have a tattoo of Arabic on my arm. Again, what am I trying to, why am I saying this? I just want you to know that all of these topics are of interest to me. And I feel very comfortable talking about all of them, exploring them, and, and so forth. But this is not the case for many of you. Religion is such an important, personal, and touchy subject for many of my students. And so what I want you to know is that several things. One, I don't have an agenda behind what I'm doing other than giving you information. Okay? Now, most people are comfortable. If I talk about Greek religion, let's say Zeus and, all the ancient gods, I can talk about it from a historical point of view. Most of you are comfortable for the simple fact that the majority of humans in the world do not believe in those gods anymore. And it's not a debate if it's true or not. It's just taught as history. Well, if I talk about Christianity or Islam, that's not the same, right? It's a very for real, in the moment topic. And when a historian approaches religion, revealed religion, we do something different than what you're exposed to in church or at the mosque or in the synagogue or at the temples that you go to. Okay, so you go to a house of worship to get spiritual nourishment. The historian is trying to analyze what we can find in historical records to see a development of this coming into the world, and that doesn't always find a harmonious balance with the way that many believers have. And so what I'm just trying to tell you is you don't ever have to believe anything that I say in this class. I'm giving you the secular historian's approach to how we understand these things. So when you make a response on them, it doesn't mean that you are agreeing with it. You're answering the topic, okay? So for instance, I teach in this first section evolution, because we have to start somewhere. Where do we start with human civilization? And the majority of scientists and physical anthropologists look at the origins of humanity through that lens. Okay? Now, you can totally just not believe in it. That's okay. I'm showing you this approach. I mean, I want you to understand the difficulty of this. Let's say I start with Genesis. Genesis is in Hebrew, Bereshit, in the beginning. I can go there. Well, not everybody believes in the book of Genesis, right? If you're a Hindu, you may not believe in the book of Genesis. If I teach the Hindu text version of the beginning of humanity and civilization, is that going to work for my Christian or my Muslim friends? It doesn't, right? No matter how I approach this, somebody's going to feel like they're going to be not pleased with what I'm saying. And this is what's so tricky, right? But I'm sticking with what the textbook does and with a standard kind of academic approach. And then, again, you're just being exposed to different ideas, not under the expectation that you agree with them. Because I know for many of you, this is a very sensitive topic, okay? And so I want you to feel also comfortable to approach me if how we talk about this or how I approach these topics bothers you on a personal level. I will not be offended. I will really be appreciative that you contact me and we can talk it out, work it out. I had one student really misunderstand one section that I did, and she was really upset. When she called me and then we talked, she felt so much better, and we had a great time moving forward in the class. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The other last thing I want to say is that on the discussion boards, you need to be respectful. And as I was mentioning this in the other video, it's so hard because I want you to feel comfortable, that free speech, and at the same time, I can't have students being insulted by other students. Okay, I would like you to kind of figure this out in a grown-up people land kind of thing, but sometimes some of you have a little harder time with that. I mean, I can make the same mistake. So just for example, if you think that a particular religion does something that's stupid or that you don't understand it, don't say it's stupid. You can say you don't understand it. Don't say it in a kind of like insulting way either. Like, just do something like, if we're having a discussion and you say, oh, I see that your particular, this particular faith addresses this. I'm used to such and such as this. I'm wondering if anybody can help clarify maybe why or how one would defend or approach this topic in this way. Thank you for helping clarify it for me. Okay, and that's how we do it. In other words, we're giving each other information. Personally, we're going to take in that information and we're going to deal with it however we're going to deal with it. Okay, but for the most part, I've never had a real problem with this. I've been really happy. Knock on wood, right? Okay, but if it happens and I see you insulting somebody, I will delete your comment. You'll have to start over. And you'll need to follow my instructions. If I'm telling you that you need to tone it down, you need to follow me, okay? And feel free to debate with me on the phone if you think that I'm being too heavy-handed in my, if you feel like your free speech is being violated, you'll have an opportunity to address that with me. But ultimately, I'm not worried about that too much. I think that we can all do this together, as I have in almost every semester, okay? And it'll be good for you. Be good to be exposed, to learn, and walk away a more edified and knowledgeable person about a topic that can, it's just important to know, right? That's all I have to say about that, and I hope that you're going to, enjoy this part of the class as opposed to be stressed out about it. Thanks.